This right here is the Digitek D416 LED light. It's a dual color LED light that I've been using for a fairly long time. This is what the packaging looks like. The combo stands for the LED as well as the holder. There's a small holder that comes with this thing that you can mount to any tripod. But it's a pretty bad quality holder, as you can hear. It doesn't sound very nice, so it's not very smooth either. So yeah, this is pretty useless. That combo might as well have been just the light. Yeah, I don't recommend using this one. But this light itself is actually pretty good, and it comes with this giant 5000 mAh battery that goes on the back, and it's chargeable via micro USB. As you can see, it has a port right on there, so you don't need a separate charger or anything. You can directly plug the charger into this battery, and if your charger is fast enough, you can continuously use it with the light. So it just goes on the back like this. So it just goes in like this. Simple as that. So it just clicks in place, and that is the button that ejects it. Of course, you've seen that in my previous video already, but I just wanted to make an update video after using this on a daily basis. A couple of you are wondering about the battery life itself, the 5200 mAh battery. How long does it last? Does it overheat and stuff like that? Let's talk about the battery life first. On max brightness, like if you crank up the dials on the side here to max, this thing only lasts about 2 hours or sometimes even less than that, and it depends on the environment condition that you're in. So sometimes if your room is too hot, and if this thing is kind of getting hot, we'll talk about that, but if it is getting too hot, obviously the battery drains a lot faster. So I could get an average of 2 hours max out of this on a single charge when brightness is set to maximum. I'm a little bit disappointed with the charging speed. This thing, even though it says that it supports up to 7.4 volts, I mean, it doesn't charge very fast for some reason. Like I connected to my 20 watts mobile phone charger, and it still takes around 2.5 to 3 hours for this to completely charge. Like there's an LED here which turns red when you're charging, and it turns green when the charging is completed. So that's how you know. You have to wait until this LED is green. But it takes a long time to charge this thing, so better make sure that you have charged this beforehand, because if you get to your your shooting location or something, and if you discover that the battery is low, then you won't have enough time to charge it. And as you can see, unlike some other Digitek models, there is no direct wall socket power port here, so you can't directly bring in a power adapter or a cable from the wall and directly plug it in. You can't really do that here. There is no advanced power indication or anything like that. There's just these 4 LEDs on the back that only reveal the battery percentage once you have installed them in, and you switch this on. So it's pretty bright, as you can see, but if I switch this on, even if both the lights are off, it gives you a battery indication, and that eventually goes down as the battery drains. But what I've noticed is that you can't always rely on this, because for some reason, even if the battery is at 50%, sometimes this thing shows up all 4 lights, and after like 5 minutes of using it, it immediately drops to 1 light. So that's a little bit unreliable. So if you turn it on for the first time and it shows full, that doesn't exactly mean that it's full. Now right now, yeah, it is indeed full, because just before this video I fully charged this battery, so I know it's full. But you can't always trust this on the go. I have had this light die on me when I'm in the middle of recording. So always make sure that even after every single shoot that you use this for, if you use it for anywhere more than half an hour, please consider charging this thing as soon as you get some time. Okay, slightly average battery life. I think most of you expected a little bit better for the 50 to 100 milliamp hour capacity. But how about the performance? Well, I'm happy to report performance is actually pretty decent. It can do a maximum of, I think, so yeah, it says right here that it can do up to 3600 lumens, which is actually pretty bright. And yeah, you can definitely use this as a single light source in your entire room. So even if you don't have any other major lights, you just switch this on and it will be bright enough to light up the whole room. I have used this as my key light for a very long time, but the only complaint that I have in terms of the light quality is the diffusion. Like the light itself is very bright, but even with a diffuser on it, like it has a built-in diffuser that I have misplaced somewhere. Okay, found it. I had misplaced this somewhere because it's of pretty much no use really. Whether it's on or off, the diffusion is not that great. Even if it is on, the shadows on your face and something are still very harsh, or not very harsh, but kind of not as flattering as something as a softbox. Obviously, the bigger the light source, the softer will be your shadows. You know that if you're a photographer or a videographer. But you can't just rely on this thing. You'll have to put another piece of cloth or white paper in front of this to diffuse the light even more. Although for the price of 2500, I think all things considered, this is still a very reputable or a very reliable product. And speaking of reliability, let's talk about heat real quick. It has some heat vents up here, as you can see. It has thinner plastic compared to the rest of the body. Now the entire body is made of plastic, which is not super great for heat conduction, but these things actually do a decent job of keeping this thing cool. Now this thing gets nowhere as hot as that RGB light gets. That is made of metal and gets very hot. You can check out that video if you want, but that's a different light. It's twice as expensive as this one, but definitely for the money, this thing performs very well in terms of thermals. It very rarely gets hot to a point where the battery starts draining faster, or you can feel the heat from here. And that's because I live in a very hot climate where temperatures reach like 37-38 degrees Celsius. If you live in a colder zone, then you will rarely have any problems with this thing. So yeah, after using this for a couple of months, those were the things that I would advise you to keep in mind. Don't use this built-in, I mean the included adapter, it's pretty bad, but purchase an adapter of your own. Use this battery for about half an hour and then recharge it, because the battery indicator that you see here is not always reliable. And of course use a soft box or some kind of a diffuser yourself, because this built-in diffuser is not that great. You can almost get rid of this, it's of no use. But otherwise the light is pretty good. I'm really happy with this. For the budget, if you're an entry level photographer like me who's just getting into it and don't want to spend too much money on their gear, yeah, definitely check this out. I'll leave a link in the description. If you have any further questions, leave them in the comments down below, and as usual I'll answer them. Let me know if you're interested in mobile photography and videography like I am. So I'll make more videos about those as well, alongside the tech videos that I make about gadgets and stuff. So with that said, I'll see you next time. Cheers.